Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most significant and pivotal weeks in history, Passion Week. Whether you've grown up hearing these stories or are just curious, we're going to walk through the events day by day, exploring the profound meaning and human drama that unfolded. This isn't just an ancient story. It's a narrative packed with love, betrayal, sacrifice, and ultimate triumph that has shaped the world for 2,000 years. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's journey back in time together. Our story begins on a Sunday, now famously known as Palm Sunday. Picture this: Jesus, after months of ministry, is heading towards Jerusalem for the Passover festival. But he doesn't arrive in a chariot with soldiers. Instead, he rides on a young donkey, a deliberate and humble fulfillment of a prophecy from the book of Zechariah. The atmosphere is electric. Crowds gather, waving palm branches and laying their cloaks on the ground, creating a makeshift carpet for him. They're shouting, "Hosana! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." Hosana means save us, and at this moment, many believed he was the political Messiah who would free them from Roman rule. It was a moment of public celebration and high expectation. But as we'll see, the mood of the crowd can be incredibly fickle. The next day, Monday, Jesus goes to the temple in Jerusalem. The temple was supposed to be a house of prayer for all nations, a sacred space. But what he finds is chaos. The outer courts are filled with money changers and merchants, turning a profit off the pilgrims who had come to worship. They were exchanging Roman currency for temple currency at exorbitant rates and selling approved sacrificial animals for inflated prices. Jesus is filled with righteous anger. He starts flipping tables, driving out the merchants, and declaring, "My house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." This act wasn't just a burst of temper. It was a powerful statement. He was challenging the corrupt religious system and reclaiming the temple for its true purpose, a place of connection with God. This act, of course, did not win him any friends among the religious authorities. It solidified their decision that he had to be stopped. On Tuesday, Jesus returns to the temple, and this day is all about teaching and confrontation. The religious leaders, the Pharisees and Sadducees, are furious about what happened the day before. They publicly challenge his authority, asking him, "By what authority are you doing these things?" Jesus, in his profound wisdom, counters with a question of his own about John the Baptist, which they can't answer without incriminating themselves. He then spends the day teaching in parable stories with deep spiritual meanings. He tells the parable of the two sons, the wicked tenants, and the wedding feast, all of which subtly expose the hypocrisy of the leaders and predict his own rejection. He also delivers what's known as the Olivet Discourse, a prophecy about the destruction of the temple and his future return. Long, intense day of teaching, warning, and preparing his disciples for the difficult times ahead. Wednesday is often called Spy Wednesday, and it's a day of quiet and shadow. The Bible doesn't record much of what Jesus did on this day. Most scholars believe he and his disciples rested in Bethany, a small village just outside Jerusalem, at the home of their friends Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. It's a calm before the storm. But while Jesus is in a moment of quiet reflection, a sinister plot is taking shape in the heart of Jerusalem. Judas Iscariot, one of his own 12 disciples, goes to the chief priests and offers to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, the price of a slave. Judas agrees to lead them to Jesus at a moment when he's away from the protective crowds. The betrayal is set in motion. It's a chilling contrast while Jesus prepares for his ultimate act of love. One of his closest friends conspires to hand him over to his enemies. Then comes Thursday, a day of intimacy and immense significance, often called Maundy Thursday. Maundy comes from the Latin word mandatum, meaning commandment. In the evening, Jesus gathers his disciples in an upper room to celebrate the Passover meal, their Last Supper together. During this meal, he does something astonishing. He gets up, ties a towel around his waist, and begins to wash his disciples' feet, a job reserved for the lowest of servants. This is a radical lesson in humility and servant leadership. He tells them, "As I have done for you, so you must do for one another." He then institutes what we now call communion, or the Eucharist. He takes bread, blesses it, and says, "This is my body, given for you." He takes a cup of wine and says, "This is my blood of the new covenant, poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." He's reinterpreting the ancient Passover meal, showing that he is the ultimate Passover lamb whose sacrifice will bring true freedom. It's also at this dinner that he predicts his betrayal by Judas and Peter's denial. After the meal, they go to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. This is one of the most raw and human moments in the entire story. Jesus is in agony, knowing what's about to happen. He prays, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me." Yet, he's sweating drops like blood, his soul overwhelmed with sorrow. He's fully human, feeling the crushing weight of what's to come, yet fully divine in his surrender to God's plan. It's here that Judas arrives with the temple guards, identifying Jesus with a kiss. The betrayal is complete. Jesus is arrested, and his disciples, in fear and confusion, scatter and flee. This brings us to the darkest day, Good Friday. The night is filled with a series of mock trials. Jesus is taken first to Annas, then to Caiaphas, the high priest, and finally before the Sanhedrin, the Jewish council. They bring false witnesses against him, but their stories don't add up. Finally, they ask him directly, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One?" And Jesus replies, "I am." For this claim of divinity, they condemn him for blasphemy, a crime punishable by death. But they don't have the authority to execute him, so at dawn, they take him to the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. Pilate questions Jesus and finds no basis for a charge. He tries to release him, even sending him to Herod Antipas, who mocks him and sends him back. Pilate offers the crowd a choice: release Jesus or release Barabbas, a known murderer and insurrectionist, whipped into a frenzy by the chief priests. The crowd that shouted Hosana just days before now screams, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate, fearing a riot, caves to the pressure. he washes his hands, a symbolic gesture of shirking responsibility, and hands Jesus over to be crucified. Roman soldiers mock him, beat him, and press a crown of thorns onto his head. He's forced to carry his own cross through the streets of Jerusalem to a place called Golgotha, the place of the skull. At 9 in the morning, they nail him to the cross between two criminals. For 6 hours, he hangs there. He speaks 7 last statements from the cross, including words of forgiveness. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." At 3 in the afternoon, with a loud cry, he says, "It is finished," bows his head, and gives up his spirit. At that moment, the Gospels record that the curtain in the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, symbolizing that the barrier between humanity and God was broken. An earthquake shook the land. A Roman centurion, witnessing it all, declares, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Saturday is a day of silence and sorrow. It's the Sabbath. Jesus' body lies in a borrowed tomb, sealed with a massive stone and guarded by Roman soldiers to prevent anyone from stealing the body and claiming he had risen. For his followers, it's a day of despair. Their hopes are shattered. The man they believed was the Messiah is dead and buried. Everything seems lost. The world is shrouded in darkness and grief. They hide behind locked doors, mourning and afraid. This day represents the finality of death and the depth of their loss. The story could have ended here, a tragic tale of a good man unjustly killed. But Sunday changes everything. Early in the morning, while it's still dark, some of the women who followed Jesus go to the tomb to anoint his body with spices. When they arrive, they are met with an impossible sight. The massive stone has been rolled away, and the tomb is empty. Angels appear and announce the most incredible news in human history. "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen." The women run to tell the disciples, who are initially skeptical. But Peter and John run to the tomb and see for themselves. Later that day, Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene, 2 disciples on the road to Emmaus, and finally to the rest of the disciples huddled in the locked room. He shows them the wounds in his hands and his side. Their despair turns to ecstatic joy. The resurrection is the ultimate victory over sin, death, and darkness. It proves that everything Jesus said was true. It's the foundation of the Christian faith and the hope that death is not the end. Passion Week begins with a king on a donkey and ends with a risen king who has conquered the grave. It's a story of ultimate sacrifice and unimaginable triumph. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Passion Week. I hope it's given you a deeper appreciation for these world-changing events. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. See you next time.